When we write a summary essay, we have to think, what is summary writing? Summary writing focuses on the main idea of any reading, video, book, etc. that you were assigned. It also tests you, the author's understanding of the text, meaning what do you take away from it? What in terms of what was it about? What is the main idea of it? Only the main idea is what we focus on with summary writing. Breaks down the complex reading so that the author can explain it in their own words. Helps you, the author, gain confidence in the reading through active reading strategies, meaning it puts all that annotating that you learn about to good use because you then turn all of those notes into a summary essay of what what the reading was about. Helps you gain confidence in writing by practicing simple, not in a bad way, simple, focused essay structures. Keeps your essays very focused. It helps you learn foundational, I should say foundational instead of simple, foundational essay structures that will help you build towards your other essays in the class. Answered my own thought right there. It prepares you for future research writing. When you have to eventually you'll build towards research writing where you have to go out and find your own sources for your research essay. And summarizing what the main idea of each of those sources are will help you when you're trying to use them in your essay because you'll know the main idea already, so you'll know how to use them in an essay. So, how do I summarize something? Take these steps. Read the text. If the text has section headings, break down the main idea of each section too. That helps the reading be less intimidating, I think, because when you ask yourself what the purpose of each little subsection was, you can build those towards the main idea. Annotate the reading. You're learning about annotations. Mark it up with your own notes through the symbols that you've learned about to react and actively engage with the text. So you practice that active reading. Review your notes and reread the text. Add more notes to the reading and answer any questions, observations, etc. Basically answer all of your annotations that you made while you were taking notes. Then last step is where you take all of that and write a summary essay. Of standard topic for a summary essay is the main idea of the text was ... So let's review each step in a little bit more detail. Step one, read the text. Read what you were assigned. Usually it's an article. That's usually a good first step for a summary essay, that you were usually assigned a complex or lengthy article. Like I said, if the text has what we call section headings, those are little subtitles with subsections that have titles within the text. A couple of paragraphs usually are in section headings, are in the sections. Break down those to the main idea, meaning what is the main idea of each section too? Ask yourself what the purpose of each section heading was. If you're like, what are section headings? What are you talking about? I have a picture somewhere in here. Oh, I have a picture. If you click this link, I don't want to click it because of copyright, but if you click this link, you have this PowerPoint on Canvas. If you click it, you'll see some section heading examples. Section headings are titles within a reading that break down the reading into subsections. Section headings are helpful guides. Use them to your advantage. They give hint to what the section will be about. So you can kind of think, okay, what this section is going to be about will help me towards the main idea. They make the overall reading less intimidating because they're broken down. Like I said, visit this link so you can kind of, if you're a visual learner like I am, so you can see samples of section headings. Getting the main idea of each section is helpful because that can give you, for example, if there's 3 or 4 different section headings in a reading, you can dedicate one paragraph to each one of those sections in your body paragraph of the essay because they're subpoints and they build to the main idea. It doesn't always work that way, but it could be one option. Step 2, annotate the reading, meaning mark it up with your own notes to react and actively engage with the text. This step is so critical because without our own notes, we make random guesses and assumptions and have difficulty writing. You can't write what the main idea of the reading was if you didn't read it. So annotate with those symbols. It also gives you something to work with, something to write about. Like I said, ask questions when you annotate. Circle unfamiliar vocabulary words and write comments all over the margins because those can really guide you. We've already talked about annotations in this class. If you want more examples, this link will take you to it. You can also refer to my annotation lecture to see another sample. Plus you have your own annotations that you've learned about. Step 3, review your notes and reread the text. Review your notes and reread to add more notes to your reading, add more annotations, but make sure you also answer any of those questions, observations, etc. that you made while annotating. You made all those annotations, now what? Go back and reread the text after taking a break. Take a break away from it, because when you revisit something after a break, you'll find new things and you'll maybe get better answers from questions that you had or confusions that you had. Basically, it gives you a different perspective than before. Rereading your annotations can help you grasp what the main idea of the overall reading was. Even after you take a break, you kind of think about it, and those thoughts that you're thinking about in relation to the text are probably guiding you towards the main idea as well. Rereading your annotations and answering the questions you asked, defining those unfamiliar vocabulary words that you circled, and reviewing your comments in the margins, again, helps you kind of formulate your own thesis of what the main idea of the text was. Answer the why. You don't really use this in summary writing, because remember that when you in a summary essay, you don't share your opinion. Like, I hated this article. This article was terrible. You don't answer the why, but when you take notes, why you didn't understand certain part of the readings could help you break down what the concept of the reading was, what that sub point was about, what that subtopic was about. So it's still helpful. What was each section about? Write a 1 to 2 sentence summary of what each section heading was about, because again, that might help you break down, that builds towards the overall main idea of a reading. Is there an introduction paragraph in the article? Sometimes they have formal introductions. If so, now after reading the text, this should say introduction, did the introduction predict what the rest of the text was about? Go back and read that introduction when you're done. You may have some of your questions that were answered after you finish the reading. Does the conclusion, if there's a formal conclusion paragraph, does it close with that same main idea, or does it ask questions for readers to be left with? Sometimes readings have the main idea in the conclusion because you get to the end and you learn the main idea. Other times they ask questions for readers to ponder and be left with to think of other concepts and future ideas or perspectives or arguments. So think about that as well. And then step 4 is writing that summary essay. Like I said, summary writing helps grasp what the text was about, helps you just explain in your own words. It challenges you in that way. So we're going to review the assignment guidelines. This PowerPoint is breaking down the official assignment guidelines that you've been given. So make sure you've reviewed these assignment guidelines. It's the same information here, but just in PowerPoint format. So let's see. All right. The summary essay will have 3 paragraphs total, so it's pretty short, nothing too daunting. Like I said, it's a good way to practice foundational strategies for essays. Not all of your essays will have this type of formula, but it's a good starting point. So it has an introduction paragraph, body paragraph, conclusion paragraph. Just a reminder that a paragraph is considered complete if it's got at least 5 sentences or more. So we're going to break down each one of these. Your introduction paragraph starts everything. First of all, we have to assume that our audience has not read the text that you're summarizing. It's tempting to assume they have, especially because most likely your instructor gave you the text to summarize. But remember, your instructor is not your audience when you write. You're learning audience awareness and assuming your audience hasn't read the text so that your writing is clear, short, and to the point. So introduce that text that you're analyzing by mentioning the title, what is it called, who wrote it, and what website was it published on. Because you're assuming only you know. Close the introduction paragraph with a 1-sentence thesis statement that summarizes what the main idea of the text was. You can even start it with this phrase: the main idea of the reading was ... Complete that in 1 sentence. That's what you think the main idea, the main purpose of the reading was. You may have a different interpretation than your classmate, but that's okay. Always assume your audience hasn't read this text, doesn't know anything about it. This introduction paragraph helps introduce helps introduce with the above background information and closes on your thesis. Don't forget your thesis, it's critical because it helps the audience know, oh, the rest of this essay is going to summarize what the main idea of the article was. That thesis dictates what type of essay you're writing. So it's so important. You got a body paragraph, just one. We're going to keep it simple. One paragraph that directly quotes at least 3 different sentences from the reading that prove what that main idea is that you're writing about. Don't forget to introduce your quotes here with what we call transition phrases. It helps the flow of the writing. It guides the reader to the quote. It introduces the quote. Here's an example. The author, you can even put their name. The author states, and then put quote, and then that direct quote that you're going to use right there, end quote. Don't forget quotation marks because that's an introduction to how you can directly quote something, and it helps you follow this pattern. So when you start the body paragraph, start with the topic sentence that states the main idea of the reading. So you basically repeat your thesis statement in a way. What is the main idea of the reading? Start the topic sentence with that. Start the paragraph with that topic sentence. Then you need a sentence of supporting detail in your own words that expands on what the main idea is. So expand on what that main idea is in your own words. Then pull a direct quote from the reading using this pattern to prove that this is the main idea. And then explain why this direct quote proves the main idea. You can use this type of phrase. This quote proves that it's the main idea because, and explain why in your own words. And then repeat steps 3 and 4 at least 2 more times because you need 3 direct quotes. You don't want to end there, so add a closing sentence to indicate the paragraph is closing. To conclude, or maybe not to conclude because that sounds like a conclusion more, like a conclusion paragraph more. Maybe say, therefore, and close that paragraph out. So follow this pattern, and doesn't that make the paragraph seem a little less intimidating to write, where you just write a sentence for each one of these, and then you close it out, and you've got everything that you need. By following the above pattern right here, you have a well-completed paragraph. And then you've got your conclusion paragraph. We have to signal, we can't just end like that because it's just kind of random. So we need a conclusion paragraph. We have to signal to our reader that the essay is done. So reinstate your thesis with the transition word. Therefore, to conclude, in conclusion, the main idea of this reading is, and repeat your thesis statement. Reinstate your thesis means repeat your thesis statement. The transition word therefore signals the entire essay is closing. By closing on the reading's main idea, you've shown confidence in your tone, meaning you've shown confidence that you can summarize an article, and you just proved your understanding of what it was about. Then summarize what each of your we're just doing one paragraph, so we should say, let me fix that because that looks weird. Summarize what your body paragraph was about. I know it sounds repetitive, but summary essays really show that you have a confidence in what you're writing about. So summarize what your body paragraph was about. What was the main idea of the paragraph? This is a very short essay, so I'm used to more than one body paragraph. There we go. And that way it's just, like I said, it sounds repetitive, but it's just a way to show confidence. You're saying, hey, I just wrote this and I'm confident that my summary is accurate. So I'm closing on summarizing what I just wrote about by also discussing what the article was about. A lot of summary, but it's practice. And then just remember required format. Don't state your opinion of the reading. It's a summary essay. It's not an opinion essay. So we don't want to say, I didn't agree with the reading, or the author is really good at writing. We're not evaluating it. We're not critiquing it. A summary focuses on the text that you read, and that's it. Write it in third person point of view. We're talking about point of view, so be careful there. This is an example of third person. This reading is about ... Instead of saying the reading I'm going to discuss, this helps what we call formal academic writing instead of conversation writing. That sounds like when we're just talking to friends. The second example sounds more conversational, or it sounds like a speech. We want the writing to be on the text, right? So it's third person. This helps the tone stay academic, formal, and unbiased. You're right, unbiased means you're not sharing your opinion about something, you're just summarizing. This link is a link that we've read before, so it's just that reminder. I know you're borrowing quotes, so you're afraid, am I plagiarizing? Don't worry, we're not in APA in-text citations yet. You are directly quoting, so normally you do put an in-text citation with that. But I assigned you the article, so I know where it came from, so don't worry about plagiarizing. If you know APA and you want to practice it, by all means you can, but don't worry, you are not plagiarizing. I know where your source is coming from because I assigned it to you. Just remember to use transitional phrases to introduce your quotes, meaning the author stated that, and your direct quote there. Use transition words to start each paragraph, maybe even within the paragraphs if needed. Not every sentence needs a transition word, but to start each paragraph at the very least. And here's a link of transition words if you want to refamiliarize yourself. You need those 3 direct quotes in the body paragraph that prove the main idea of the reading. Keep those direct quotes no longer than 2 sentences. You don't want too long. You don't want the author's quotes to overtake your writing. 100% written by you, except for those 3 direct quotes that you find. Type double-spaced, 1-inch margins, 12-point font, Times New Roman or something similar, easy to read through font. If you have any questions about format, especially double space, let me know. Complete on Microsoft Word or Google Docs only. Let me know if y'all have any questions about this essay.